Welcome back to the channel. So it's been a couple days since I recorded a video, and I'm going to kind of give you an update on what's been going on, which has been quite a lot. This has been a busy 5 days, I guess. First up, we'll just kind of cover the results and what's been going on. So I was playing the same strategy. You can tell these are kind of $5 bets here at the beginning up until about right here. And that's where I kind of crossed well into the $900 account balance again, after being very focused and very disciplined, which is 100% important in day trading. And then I upped my bets to 1%, which you can kind of see these bars are all larger beyond that. Kind of kept the same strategy and then started testing a couple different strategies kind of here in the middle. Just kind of break even-ish, down a little here, up a little here, down a little here. And then right here, this is, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 blue bars with 4 orange bars. One of those orange bars is a trade I chased, and I know sorry, 5. One of those 5 is a trade I chased, and I knew I shouldn't have placed. Which is why I lost, because chase trades lose. That should be pretty clear by now. But this was a new strategy, and that strategy was, I'll kind of show you exactly what it was. Just going to give us some more screen space here. So this white line is just a simple moving average with a period of 4. I believe it's this one. And this red line is a simple moving average with a period of 30. And essentially the strategy goes something like this. You put your bet I put my bet at 1%. You put your time at 5 minutes. This is a 1-minute candle chart. And maybe this one is a little bit too choppy right here for me to actually place. But the strategy basically goes that when this white line comes down across the red line, so the shorter moving average comes down across that longer, kind of more flowy moving average, you want to see that white line then pass through a red candle. So you can see it missed the red candle here. It crossed here, missed the red candle. So this would not have been a valid setup. Let me pick a different asset. So here's a great example, I believe. So we come down, we cross, we hit a red candle. When we hit that red candle, we place the bet for 5 minutes. And we're going lower. We're shorting it from that position. We're going in the direction of the white line. So 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute, 5 minute. We are lower than the close of this candle. So we would win that bet. And then vice versa. You kind of cross through, and this part of the strategy was not quite clear, so you'll have to experiment with it yourself. Essentially, we cross here, so I don't count this candle. We nick this candle, so at the close of this candle, we would be 5 minutes long. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see that we're here, and so in that chart, this 9 or whatever it was, 11, essentially out of 15 was pretty awesome. And then I ended the day and I came back the next morning doing the same exact thing. And I got 1 win out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this one might have actually been part of this day. So it was like 1 win and 10 losses to bring me down to here. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is wrong? And then, of course, the variance played itself out. Up to here, and then I was just experimenting. I did a bunch of learning. I'll kind of share some of that learning with you. The first kind of thing beyond this strategy was just kind of looking more at I have notes on separating, and I'm really trying to separate the binary options from the day trading, kind of where I can actually set a stop loss and set a target, etc. So I spent some time learning all about support and resistance, which I kind of already knew most of that, and then more so about supply and demand. So I watch a lot of Carmine or Carmine, I don't know how to say his name, Rosato's stuff on YouTube. His stuff seems really, really good. He goes into some pretty good depth, but essentially learning to draw kind of supply and demand zones, how to find them, and there's definitely an art along with the science to it. But that is what I've been working on, is support, resistance, supply, and demand. I also spent some more time with the awesome oscillator just to see if there were other entry or kind of signals that I could use. And I have been using the Twin Peaks one a lot on binary options. And basically, I'm giving myself kind of a 5-minute time frame after the Twin Peaks. Let's see if we can find a Twin Peak. So, unfortunately, in pocket options, it won't let me draw a line down here. I can only draw, like if I want to draw a ray, I can't draw it, and I can't even move it down off that show. Oh, maybe it was going to let me there for a second. So let me just get rid of that ray. I don't even remember how to get rid of that ray. Oh, there we go. Trash. So right here, we've got some peaks. And if you kind of see Twin Peaks, where the first peak, or even the second and the third are getting smaller on the bottom or smaller on the top. If I was able to draw a ray right here or a line, it would kind of go something like this, or like off these two, it would go here. And so when it crosses that 0, that's where we would have shorted for 5 minutes. So as you can see, that's right here. We would have shorted starting here. And I don't think it's going to matter which candle you start with. If you start at the close of this, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a clear win. If you started at the beginning of this candle, you're still probably going to do just fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th candle's not closed, but it's probably not coming back up to here. So that has also been super useful. Let me see if I can find a quick example of peaks going the other way from the top. So this is not quite as good of an example. The peaks are not as high, but you can kind of see here that if we drew a line from here to here and kind of came down, that we would then put a buy in about right here. And I need a piece of paper, which I can hold up to my monitor, but it's probably somewhere in this vicinity. And so you can see if we put a 5-minute buy, even if we put it here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we might lose that one. If we get it here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we might even lose that one. So hopefully that line draws to like here, and then you'd be okay. But you can see you do get the rally here. So when you're coming off 2 Twin Peaks from the high side, it's wherever that line crosses the 0 is going to be a buy. And I'm using that in conjunction with lots of other kind of signals. So if you see kind of this signal right here is kind of called, let me see. So obviously this is a kind of a double top right here. And kind of what that's stating is, hey, we got up to here, we couldn't get higher, and then we came back lower. So a lot of the times what I've seen is when we hit that on a lot of charts, let me see if I can find some good examples. Like here's a great double top. When we hit this double top and this closes, if this next bar closes down, I've been betting 1 minute down right here as well, because it tends to be that if this closes down, I've seen a lot of patterns where that actually occurs. So, and same thing on the upside from double bottoms. Probably need a different chart. That is probably not the best chart to look at. So, you know, here's a double top. This one wasn't red, so I wouldn't put the bet in. Here's a double bottom. This one wasn't green, so I wouldn't put the bet in. You know, here's a double top. This one was red. This one was red. I would have won. Here's a double top. This one's red. I would have put the bet in and would have won. So you can kind of see that's another example of just interesting kind of candlestick patterns to use. The other one that there's a couple more. I learned about the hanging man and the hammer, which are basically inverse patterns of one another. See if we can go find some. So this is a great example right here of the hammer. We come down, and then we have this. It's the wrong side, so this should be on the top side, but it would look more like this as the candle. Let me see if I can find one. whenever I'm looking for it, it's going to be hard to find. Yeah, so this one is close. It's just it's not a very good chart. It doesn't have enough fluctuation in it. See if we can find the Hanging Man one as well. Boy, hard to find a great example right now. That's unfortunate. I should have just had one all pulled up. So essentially we're looking for kind of a strong up, a hanging man at the top, and then a down, or vice versa. And I don't know why it is so difficult to find this right now. You would think there would be at least one. They were all over yesterday. So like this is close to a hammer. You come down, you get the hammer, and you come back up. And then essentially you're kind of going to see an upside to that. And then the opposite is true of the hammer on the top, which we don't have a great example of. So I was looking at those two patterns. The kind of other thing basically is once you get above wherever that first candle comes back to on the upside, that's where you're going to kind of spring off that and go higher. And so that was kind of the thought with those. There were also bullish engulfing candles and bearish engulfing candles. And those are probably a little easier to find. So like right here, we have a bullish engulfing candle. So you can see the body of this candle right here was engulfed completely by the body of this. And essentially, the larger the candles, the more reliable the signal. And basically, you'd set your stop loss, which we can't do here, at the low of the two candles, or the high if you're shorting, if it was on the other side. Like up here, you can see this is a bearish engulfing candle. This candle engulfs this candle. So we would assume that we are going to see a bearish market after that. And in this case, we definitely did. In this case, we saw, yep, it's a higher market. Again, here, this one is very close. This is more like a double bottom, but apparently it did not hold. So as with everything, right? A, trading is risky. B, everything does not work 100% of the time. You have to have as many signals kind of line up and as much confirmation as you can in order to actually make a decent trade. And that's really what I've been focused on in the last few days, is not just saying, oh, hey, look, this one is a, bullish engulfing candle. Let's see if we can find one that's right on the end now. So here's an example of the up. I've got my timer set at 5 minutes. We did cross. We would have gone through. We would have placed the bet here. I guess I did indeed miss it. Unfortunately, I would have put the bet in at the close of this candle from that original strategy that I talked to you about. A few tweaks that I've read about that make the bullish and bearish engulfing body candles more reliable. If you look for a small real body in the first candle, followed by a long real body on the second candle, that basically indicates there's some force behind the move. So if you get a tiny body, if these two candles were reversed, if there was a tiny body and then a large body, going up or down or whichever, like here is a great example, these two candles. So this is a bullish engulfing candle on this. You got a very small body and then a very forceful move. We're probably going to continue that move to the upside. And then basically noticing the speed in which that kind of up or down happens, preceding the pattern. So before you kind of come into it, and then basically an engulfing pattern can indicate profit taking in that case. And then volume, which is really kind of hard to find a great indicator for volume so far on pocket options, unlike Trade of 8 or other trading platforms that aren't just binary options. the volume basically has a large influence as to whether this is going to work or not. So if you have really high and heavy volume in the second candle, if we had, where was our candle here? So right here, if we had really heavy volume in this candle, that would be great. So that would be super helpful. So that's kind of the candle patterns that I spent some time on. I learned some more about VWAP as well. And so VWAP, basically I use for VWAP is volume weighted average price. And when I flip over to Trade-Evate here, I will kind of show you that one as well. So that was kind of my trading on Trade-Evate or on pocket options for the last few days, and kind of the learning that I've been going through. I've been watching a ton of videos, and it's been super helpful learning about bracket orders and how to place stuff, and just in general watching like Trades by Matt does a great stream every day. I've been watching that. There's several other, like I said, Carmine Rosado has been fantastic. So that is kind of what brought to this kind of section. So I'll kind of close that one out, and then I'm going to pause for a second and get my next setup ready so I can show you the Trade-Evate side as well, of the stuff that I have been doing on there. So I'll be right back. All right, we're back, and this is my setup currently on Trade-Evate. And I'm not sure if I love this platform. I've seen some other videos where the actual graphing and drawing lines is much easier, but we'll see how it works out. This is where I'm starting, so we'll kind of go from there. So I kind of have set up here a 1-minute chart of the Nasdaq. So I was planning on trading the Nasdaq, kind of following the Trades by Matt YouTube channel and the lead that has been kind of given there. So I have a 1 minute, I have a 5 minute, and then I have a 15-minute. If you're not familiar with his setup, go watch some of his videos. They're fantastic. These three lines right here that you see, this was market open and market close. Things outside of that are extended hour and pre-market trading. So you can see trading is still going on over here. Maybe you can't. Let me squeeze that in. There we go. Right about there. So I've got the Nasdaq, and I'm trading the micro, and then I have the S&P 500 over here. I've got a 15-minute chart, and I use this chart basically to switch back and forth for things like going to a half an hour or something like that. So this is kind of what happened today in a 15-minute chart. So from the market open here until the market close here, so 1 hour, 2 hours, you get the point. We definitely saw kind of a nice drop today in the market, and then an after hours trading up. I guess we've seen another drop. I looked at it a few hours ago, and it was kind of in here. So this is pretty interesting as well. That must have been on some news. Anyway, this is what I am planning to trade, and so you can essentially put in, I can put in a come to this chart. So this shows the volume. I can easily drop in, if I wanted to drop in an order, I could just do it over here, or I can come over here to the DOM and basically click on, if I click on this box right here, it will put in a buy at that price. If I click on this box, it would put in a sell at that price, which would be really bad because I'd be, it would execute, or the buy would execute. One of those would execute immediately, given where the price is now. So if I wanted to put a buy in at this price, I could, and then I can move that up and down. So that is kind of what I've been using for Trade-Evate. This morning when I got up, I did practice a little bit on the demo account a few days ago, and then when I got up this morning, I pulled up the Nasdaq and decided to place a couple trades, which was definitely fun. However, the first trade I went to place, I wanted to actually put a sell order in for the current, almost the current price, but I clicked on the wrong side. So rookie mistake. I clicked on the wrong side. It immediately bought at the market, and I was like, what happened? And so I exited, and I think this happened twice. And in those 2 times, I actually made $6.50, which was pretty funny. I got a good laugh out of it, but whatever. And then I went on to trade, and so I'll kind of show you, here are the results from my first day ever of trading on Trade of 8 with live real money. And you can see basically that first trade was minus 350 and the next one was 950. So I guess I was up $6 after 2 mistaken clicks, which is pretty funny. And then these next 2 trades, I basically moved my stop loss way too far away. And I was hoping, essentially, which is a terrible thing to do. I was hoping that it was going to come back, and it didn't. And so kind of in these 2 trades, I kind of basically blew my day, unfortunately, because that was like, $65 right there, $65.50, whatever it was, that I was immediately down. So I was down $60, and then I kind of had to grind to get that back. But I did manage to do that, and I did end up the day ahead. I don't know why it doesn't show the sum total here. I can probably just easily go look this up. But you can kind of see this one was a very small trade. I got out quickly. This one was one that I let run. And there were several of these that I should have trusted my reads and my entry into the market and let it go. Instead, I took profit way too soon, at least on 2 of these. There was another 20-point slide on one of them. So that was unfortunate. And you can see I did both, there are both shorts and longs in here. So overall for the day, I was essentially up. I put $5,000 in this account. I mistakenly bought the wrong data source and they can't refund it. So that was $15. And then I bought the right data source. That was $15. So my account was down to $49.70. And then today I basically made about $22.48. So great first day. A lot of learning went on. Got to watch the market, starting to get used to the Nasdaq and the S&P 500. And it's definitely a very different world than kind of the Forex markets have been. And I would say that, especially given the market conditions we're in right now, where the market is just sliding. And I'll show you the graph here kind of what's been going on the last few days. Like, it's a pretty big drop. It's taken a little bit of time to load here, but you can kind of see, like, you're probably favoring shorts in this market, right? And with the news from the interest rate hike that's coming, and how good will that hike be, or how much. So it's been an interesting learning experience, and I'm enjoying it. I do love it. So I will keep going, and we will trade the micros, even though the dollar amounts are very small per tick. I think it's still possible to, put a few good trades in every day. And, the goal would be to get to be, consistently making at least $50 to $100 a day. And then I think we will scale up quickly into just the mini contracts instead. So that is really kind of all I have for this video. I just wanted to share the progress that's been going on. A lot of learning, a lot of watching YouTube videos, a lot of studying, a lot of watching the market, a lot of kind of pretend like, oh, okay, well, this is where the market's at. Here's the 1 minute graph, and then finding my, supply zones, in the 15-minute graph and in the 5-minute graph and in the 30-minute graph. And like, as an example, you can kind of see right here, we had this huge drop. I don't really know why that happened. But kind of now we've had price stabilize in this same zone. And this candle is the first sign to the downside, although it's really just testing the bottom wick of this. And this candle still has another minute 42 before it's actually going to close. So kind of in this range, price has consolidated, and we're waiting for kind of more information. But you can see here in the cumulative delta that sellers were definitely in charge during this time period. If we kind of come back, you can kind of see, and this is, one of the Trades by Matt video, this is like his secret weapon. So I'm trying to learn kind of what he uses it for and then see how it fits my trading style. So, you can definitely see during the trading day, sellers were in charge most of the day until the very end, and I wasn't actually trading during this period. But then you see this nice kind of rally at the end of the day, and that is where buyers were slightly in charge, but then really it was just flat. So the buyers were in charge a little bit here, for a tiny bit here, but that's about it. So a lot of fun. It's great, great practice, and you're only if we lose $50 on a trade, it's not the end of the world. It's not like I'll add 2 zeros or something like that. So anyway, that is a recap of the last 5 days. Hopefully I will try and do more videos not so far apart, especially now that this has kind of started going. I may also start exploring other platforms besides Tradeovate. I've seen TD Ameritrade is really good for charting, which looks awesome. And I definitely need something like that, or I'll probably play around with TradingView and some other stuff. So just a ton of learning going on and a lot of fun. So that's all I've got for today. Thanks for watching and have a great day.